Let's take a trip back in time together as we remember 10 old stores we truly miss. Ready? Sears. Do you remember how exciting it was when the Sears catalog showed up in the mailbox? It felt like Christmas came early every time. Each page was packed with possibilities, from toys and tools to clothes and furniture. It was a dream book for the whole family. Sears started way back in 1892 in Chicago. At first, it only sold watches by mail, but soon it became a huge catalog company that sent all kinds of things to people's homes. If you lived far from a store, the Sears catalog was the best way to shop. Some people even ordered whole houses from it. Eventually, Sears moved beyond the catalog and built a massive presence in malls and shopping centers across America. By the 1970s, Sears had over 3,500 locations, becoming not just a store, but a household name. It was where you bought your first school clothes, picked out new appliances, or tagged along with your parents during back-to-school season. Brands like Kenmore and Craftsman earned their place in garages and kitchens nationwide. But as online shopping took over and retail trends shifted, Sears slowly lost its place. What was once a retail giant began to fade, store by store. Now, all that remains are the memories. Sears may no longer be in our towns, but for those of us who grew up flipping through those catalogs, its legacy is unforgettable. Do you still have a favorite Sears memory? Share it with us in the comments. Tower Records. There was a time when music lovers had a favorite place to go, and that place was Tower Records. If you grew up back then, you know how exciting it was. It wasn't just a music store, it was a world of discovery, fun, and memories. Tower Records started in 1960 in Sacramento, California, and by 1999, it had grown to more than 150 stores in 24 countries. But for many of us, especially during the late 1960s and 1970s, it was the place to be on a Saturday afternoon. Walking into Tower Records felt like stepping into a party. There was music playing everywhere, and shelves full of records, CDs, books, magazines, and even concert tickets. Some stores even had arcades, snacks, and coffee shops. You could spend the whole day there without getting bored. Back then, finding music was part of the fun. You'd hear a song on the radio or from a friend, then head to Tower Records to look for it. Sometimes you'd discover a new band by just picking up a cool-looking album cover. You could try out music at listening stations with shared headphones. No streaming, no instant downloads, just real exploring. Sadly, as online music and streaming services took over, Tower Records couldn't keep up. The last stores closed in 2006. But for those who were lucky enough to experience it, the memories never fade. Montgomery Ward. Before online shopping or even big malls, there was one name families all across America trusted: Montgomery Ward, or as many lovingly called it, Monkey Wards. Founded in 1872 in Chicago, Illinois, Montgomery Ward was truly ahead of its time. Aaron Montgomery Ward had a bold idea: send goods directly to people living in small towns and farms. With his mail order catalog, folks who lived far from city stores could finally buy clothes, tools, furniture, even toys, without ever leaving home. It was a game changer. In 1926, the company opened its first store. Soon, families everywhere were walking through its doors, shopping for everything from appliances to back-to-school clothes. And let's not forget the catalogs. Big, colorful, and packed with hundreds of items, those catalogs were a treat, especially around the holidays. Kids would grab a pen and circle their dream gifts in the toy section, hoping Santa was paying attention. And what about that funny nickname, Monkey Wards? Well, believe it or not, the company once offered real monkeys for sale through their catalog. It sounds wild today, but the name stuck, and so did the memories. Unfortunately, times changed. With more competition and the rise of newer shopping trends, Montgomery Ward started to lose its place. By 2001, all of its stores had closed for good. Borders. If you were a bookworm or just someone who loved a cozy place to hang out, then Borders was probably your second home in the 90s and 2000. Let's be honest, who didn't lose track of time wandering through those endless shelves of books? Founded in 1971 by brothers Tom and Louis Borders, the store started as a small bookstore in Michigan and grew into something much bigger. Borders wasn't just a place to buy books, it was an experience. You'd walk in and be greeted by the smell of fresh pages, soft music playing in the background, and rows of comfy chairs that practically begged you to sit and stay a while. But books were just the beginning. Borders also had CDs, DVDs, vinyl records, and a cafe where you could sip a latte while flipping through the latest bestseller. It was a peaceful place where book lovers, music fans, and curious minds could come together. You could browse for hours, discover a new favorite author, or just pretend to study while secretly watching people and enjoying the atmosphere. Sadly, as the internet took over and people started shopping online, Borders couldn't keep up. Big changes in the book world, plus some not-so-great business moves, led to the company closing its doors in 2011. And just like that, one of the most beloved bookstores became a memory. Don't you miss it? A&P. There was a time when the Great Atlantic and Pacific Tea Company was as common in American towns as streetlights and sidewalks. From the 1930s to the 1990s, if you were grocery shopping, chances are you were doing it at an A&P. But ask someone under 30 today, and they might not even recognize the name. It all began in 1859 when a small tea and coffee business slowly grew into one of the largest and most influential supermarket chains in the country. At its height, there were more than 16,000 locations nationwide. This wasn't just a place to buy groceries, it was where families built routines and communities connected. Saturday mornings, helping your parents pick out produce or standing by the coffee grinder as that rich smell filled the air. Those moments left a mark. For decades, it led the way in retail, offering low prices and promotions that changed the way people shopped. But as time moved on, the world around it changed. New competitors emerged with larger stores, more convenience, and modern technology. While others adapted, this once mighty company struggled to keep up. By 2015, the last store quietly closed, bringing more than a century of service to an end. In a world that moves quickly, standing still isn't just risky, it's the first step toward being forgotten. Zayre. If you ever picked out your first Atari game or wandered the toy aisles with wide eyes during the holidays, chances are you did it at Zayre. Founded in 1956, this store became a go-to destination for families looking for good products at low prices, a true pioneer in the era before one-stop shopping was even a phrase. Zayre offered it all: clothes, toys, small appliances, home goods, and more, all under one roof. It was practical, affordable, and dependable. Especially during the holidays, walking through its festive aisles felt magical. Shopping back then wasn't just about buying things. It was about spending time with family, catching up with neighbors, and turning a simple errand into a small adventure. As suburbs grew in the 1960s and 70s, so did Zayre. Its stores were easy to navigate, making it the first stop for many weekend shoppers. With bright lighting, wide aisles, and shelves packed with deals, it was everything people wanted from a neighborhood store. But the 1980s brought change. The retail world became more competitive, and customer habits started to shift. Shoppers wanted more variety, faster service, and lower prices. By 1988, Zayre had been bought out by the parent company of TJ Maxx, and by the early 90s, the brand had quietly disappeared. Hollywood Video. Back in the 1990s and early 2000s, before Netflix and streaming changed everything, there was a weekend tradition many of us looked forward to: renting movies. And for a lot of families and movie lovers, one of the top places to do that was Hollywood Video. Founded in 1988, it quickly grew into one of the biggest video rental chains in the country, going head-to-head with Blockbuster. Just walking through those aisles felt like a treasure hunt. You never knew if you'd stumble upon an old favorite or find a brand new release that would be the highlight of your weekend. The new releases section was always buzzing, grabbing a movie, flipping it over to read the back, and making that all-important choice. It was all part of the fun. Whether you were planning a movie night with friends or a quiet evening at home, the excitement started in the store. But times changed. As the internet grew and streaming became the norm, fewer people rented physical movies. In 2010, Hollywood Video filed for bankruptcy and closed its doors soon after. It's hard to explain to kids today how special it was to walk into a video store on a Friday night, pick out a stack of movies, grab some popcorn and candy, and head home for a cozy night in. So here's the big question. When it came to movie nights, were you Team Blockbuster or Team Hollywood Video? Warner Brothers Studio Store. Walking into one of these stores in the 1990s felt like stepping right into a cartoon dream. Do you remember that feeling? The Warner Brothers Studio Store was more than just a place to shop. It was pure entertainment. Bursting with color, energy, and familiar characters, it brought the world of Looney Tunes, DC superheroes, and more right into your local mall. At the entrance, life-sized figures of favorites like Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, Superman, and Batman welcomed you in. Inside, shelves overflowed with everything from fun toys and clothes to rare collectibles, decorative items, and unique artwork that you couldn't find just anywhere. One of the coolest features, the customization area, where you could create your own t-shirts, caps, and other gear with your favorite characters printed right on them. And if you were lucky enough to visit during the holidays, the store's festive look made it feel even more magical. Unfortunately, this world of fun didn't last. By 2001, the stores were gone from shopping malls. Before you go, tell me, which store do you miss the most? I'd love to hear it.